And while we remember JFK and the anniversary today, we think of Lee Harvey Oswald, who was gunned down by Jack Ruby in one of the most remarkable, dramatic, and strangest pieces of our history.
You have a personal tie to Jack Ruby.
I think we all have some connection in some way or another. You know, I found this on a local newspaper rack here in Los Angeles this week. A commemorative Dallas Morning News from November the 23rd, 1963. Back then it cost a nickel. This was about $5. But back then, Jack Ruby and I went to the same Dallas synagogue. Abraham Zapruder, who took that famous home movie 50 years ago today, he did too. The synagogue was Shearith Israel. Our rabbi, Hillel Silverman, who after Dallas became a rabbi in Beverly Hills, now lives in La Jolla. But for the last half century, he's lived with some very difficult memories.
I can't believe it's 50 years. It's like a bad memory.
You went to the Trade Center. You went to that luncheon to hear the president.
And suddenly there was an announcement. There's been an accident. There had been shooting. The president was hurt. He's on his way to the hospital. It was just chaos. People couldn't believe it. They didn't know what to believe, what to do.
What did you feel?
I felt a shock. I was completely numbed. I hoped it wasn't true. And I hoped that he was still alive, that it was like a glancing blow, like Reagan was hit.
Silverman, who's now 89 years old, has 3 grown kids, including well-known actor Jonathan Silverman, a family that knows well the rabbi's shock when he heard Jack Ruby, a member of his congregation, killed Lee Harvey Oswald, a family that remembers the rabbi's many jailhouse visits to see Ruby.
This really freaked me out. It was bad enough to have the president assassinated in my town, but to have the one who assassinated the president killed by a bullet from a member of my congregation, it was just inconceivable. I couldn't believe it.
You'd go to the jail.
Ruby was in a cell with a light on 24 hours a day. They were taking no chances.
What kinds of things would he talk to you about?
We didn't have many intellectual conversations.
Did he ever at any point, though, say, gee, you know, maybe I shouldn't have done that?
No, never did it. Never said that he regretted it.
And the idea that he shot Oswald was one man acting alone?
One man acting alone.
He wasn't involved in a conspiracy in any way?
No conspiracy. He was not connected with anybody. He just, in a fit of rage, pulled the trigger.
The rabbi says it was really a very spontaneous thing on November 24th, 1963. Jack Ruby, who had a lot of police friends, saw a big crowd outside the Dallas police station. The rabbi says officers knew Ruby. He walked right in. The rabbi says Ruby didn't know Oswald was being transferred to the county jail, but when he saw him, he pulled the gun from his pocket, a gun he always carried, and he fired.
Hal, you know, his attorney, Joe Tannehill, in the trial for Ruby, said that Ruby, this reaction was an epileptic shock triggered by the flashbulbs going off. That is how he explained that event, although Ruby kept saying he did it for America.
Right, and you know what? The rabbi, that's exactly repeatedly what Ruby told the rabbi, that he did it for America. He did it so that Jacqueline Kennedy wouldn't have to come back to Dallas for a trial.
And his attorney said it was epileptic shock. Isn't that interesting?